Greg, where are you right now? I really need to talk to you. Please get back to me as soon as you get these messages, okay?
What do you want, Linda? Don't you know I'm busy right now? What's the matter with you bothering me like this? We've talked about this, haven't we?
I know we've talked about this, and I'm really sorry to be bothering you right now, but I wouldn't be unless it were an emergency. I got home today, and when I opened the door and walked into the house, I saw that my dad had collapsed. Apparently, he had fallen down the stairs and broke one of his legs. He couldn't move at all when I found him. He was saying that his hip was really hurting him as well when I finally managed to stand him back up.
Are you kidding me? This is what you wanted to talk to me about? You just wanted to tell me that your dad fell and might have just broken a bone or something?
What do you mean? What's with that reaction? Don't you get how serious this could have been?
Yeah, I mean, it could have just been serious if he'd hit his head or caused himself to bleed or something like that. But you're really bothering me just to say he broke some lame broken leg? Honestly, I'm just disappointed that your old geezer's even alive. You almost gave me a bit of hope there before you had to go and tear it away.
I don't understand. Are you serious? Is this really the best response you have for what I'm trying to tell you? Can't you please come home and help me out here? I've already called the ambulance, but I could really use you here, Greg.
Why would I waste my time going all the way back home when you've already called the ambulance? Sounds to me like you've already taken care of everything there, right? Besides, you know that I don't get home until 7:30 today, and don't think that just because your dad feels like that you can skip out on cooking me dinner tonight. And don't go making something simple that you just want reheated either. I want a nice dinner that was handmade that night, got it?
I don't even know what to say to you right now. How can you act like this after all that I've told you? I just don't understand it. You used to be so much more laid back and understanding. What happened to you, Greg?
You really are a pain in the ass, do you know that? Why are you always nagging on me like that?
Look, I just really need to be with my dad right now, and I'm going to be with him at the hospital. I'm sorry, but you'll just have to figure something out to have for dinner on your own tonight.
Are you kidding me? Just who do you think you are trying to pull something like this on me, huh? Man, you're such a lazy cow, do you know that? Why do you always have to make every little thing that happens all about you? Oh my god, you do nothing but piss me off, you do realize that, right? You just ruin everything, really. And you know that you've even ruined tonight all because you don't feel like cooking me something too. Well, you are gonna pay for this. Hey, what's the matter with you, huh? I finally got back home and there's no one here to greet me or anything. I thought that I was living with my wife, but I guess not, since she's not even home to see her husband after work.
Greg, what are you talking about? I told you that I was going to be with my dad while he gets examined at the hospital.
And what about my dinner, huh? Did you at least prepare something for me to eat now that I'm finally off of work?
Greg, I already told you that you'd have to figure out dinner for yourself tonight. Why are you acting like this? Don't you realize that I'm here trying to help my dad after he could have really seriously injured himself? I mean, he literally has a broken leg.
But he's at the hospital now, isn't he? So just leave him in the good care of the doctors or whatever. Just quit whining and making excuses and get back home to make my dinner.
I really just can't believe that you're acting like this right now. What is the matter with you? You should know better than to talk to me like that. I am your wife, in case you forgot. What has gotten into you?
No, please, you know what my problem is, so don't even pretend like you don't. You know that ever since we've had to move into this house and live with your parents, that things have been awful for me.
Is that what this is all about? You're mad that my parents live in a huge house to fit multiple families and that we're living here with them? Do you really think that my parents would be able to take care of a place like this all by themselves? And just why are you even complaining about our living situation when I'm the one that's paying for everything? You have no right to complain at all.
Whatever, I knew that you wouldn't get it, and this is why I don't even bother to open up with you. But I wish that your parents would just hurry up and die already.
Excuse me? What is the matter with you? Why would you say something like that to me right now, or ever for that matter?
Well, I'm just saying that it's your dad's name on the lease, right? So whenever he finally kicks the bucket, that means that I'm gonna be the new owner of the house, right? Then I can finally have what I've been after this whole time. You do know I didn't marry you because I love you, right? I wanted this house the whole time.
You don't mean that, right? You don't mean that you really only married me because you thought that you were going to get this house, did you?
Oh, of course I did. When I saw the size of the place, I knew I had to make it all mine. Even if that meant marrying a cow like you and having to put up with your horrible parents.
You really are just the worst. Do you know that? I don't even know what to say to you.
Well, say whatever you'd like. It isn't gonna change the fact that my plan is all up to a matter of waiting now. But man, I'm seriously so pissed off at you that I think that I might just go out for the night. Tomorrow, you better have dinner ready for me, or else there will be serious consequences. Do you understand, Linda?
You think that I'm going to make dinner for you after the way that you've been treating me? You're a horrible jerk, Greg.
Yeah. Keep crying to yourself, you fat, ugly cow. See if I care. It isn't gonna change a thing about our marriage.
Hey, Linda, is everything okay? I'm only asking because I heard some shouting coming from your place and then I saw Greg storm out.
You mean that you saw Greg leave the house then? I'm so sorry that we were bothering you.
Well, it sounded more like he was just shouting and yelling to himself. Besides, I thought I saw you leave when the ambulance arrived, so I didn't think that you were home. But man, Greg sure does know how to yell, and I can't tell you the amount of times that I've seen him leaving that casino when I drive home. I know this isn't really my place, but have you two had a chance to sit down and try and discuss some of your issues as a couple?
Oh, Nick, I know that you mean well, but I think we're much past the point of trying to talk things out rationally, if you ask me.
Oh, I see. Well, if you'd like to talk about it a little with me, I'd be more than happy to lend an ear.
Well, we can just start with today, really. So my dad fell down some stairs and broke his leg. I was so scared when I got home and saw him on the ground. But I told Greg about it and he treated me like I was just overreacting and told me that he wished my dad had died.
You're kidding me. Did he really say that? I'm so sorry, but it's just hard for me to imagine someone like Greg saying that. I know he can get pretty intense and he has his issues with gambling, but he's normally just so nice around the office. I just can't believe that he would actually do something like that.
Well, I'm glad to know that he composes himself at work for everyone at his office to see how kind he is. But let me tell you, he is a very, very different person at home, and I think he'd prefer to keep the two worlds separate.
I just don't even know what to say to this. Of course, I don't think that you're lying or anything like that, but I just need to wrap my head around this. But anyways, what about your dad? Is he okay now? I guess since the ambulance was here, he might have gotten a chance to take off, right?
Well, I'm actually here at the hospital with him right now, and they're monitoring him to make sure that he'll be okay.
I see. I mean, that really does sound scary. I can imagine what must have gone through your mind when you found him at the bottom of the stairs. You know, if you'd like, I can try and talk a bit to Greg about this. Maybe he just needs to hear something from someone he doesn't live with.
You're more than welcome to try whatever you'd like with him, but don't be surprised if his mood shifts and he just blows up on you. To be honest, I don't really know how much longer he and I are even going to remain married at this rate.
I see. Well, you should actually know that he texted me asking if he could crash on my couch tonight. So that's another reason why I thought something might have happened. But I'll try and talk to him and hopefully we can just smooth this whole thing over, right?
Again, you're welcome to try. I'm sorry that you're getting wrapped in our drama, but you really don't have to do this.
I know, but I just hear all the shouting and it's so different from the image I have of Greg at work and... well, I just want to try and make things right, you know?
I guess. But why would you do this? Why even bother reaching out and talking to me and checking up on me?
Oh, there's no reason at all for that. No reason at all. Anyways, I gotta go now. Bye!
Hey, what the heck is the matter with you? I'm out all day and it's finally the next day and I don't have a single word of apology from you? You really gotta learn some manners, you know that? But what else can I expect from a fat cow like you?
I'm out right now, Greg. I can't really be bothered getting into all of this with you right now.
Excuse me, you're out? And just where are you out to right now, huh? Actually, what am I saying? Of course I hope it is. But if anyone asks where I am, just tell them that I didn't care to attend and chose to sleep in instead.
You are just the worst. You know that you don't have to say that kind of stuff to make your point, right? I seriously regret ever marrying you. It's the biggest mistake of my life.
Well, trust me, the feeling is more than mutual. But at least in my case, I have an amazing house to look forward to inheriting. And the funniest part of all is that I remember when you and I did get married. Your dad told me that he was so happy that you finally had someone to look after you. A sad old man he was.
Shut up. Do not talk about my dad that way. All that shows is that he hoped I was making the right choice for my future.
For your future? What future? You're already in your 30s. You're practically a grandma at this point. You really think you've got all that much to look forward to? Besides, you don't want to let your dad down and cause him more worry by breaking up with me and getting a divorce, right?
You really think that you just know everything in the world, don't you, Greg?
And just what is that supposed to mean, huh? You women are always so sensitive, you know that? It's a shame that all your hormones are keeping you from thinking logically and clearly about things like men can. But it's okay because that's why women marry men, because they know that we're smarter.
Oh, just shut up, will you? You're a horrible piece of garbage, and I am going to get a divorce. In fact, I've already submitted the paperwork to the courthouse, so it really is more of a done deal now.
Wait, what? Is that supposed to be some kind of joke or something? You didn't actually do that. There's no way you could. You're too weak to do something like that.
Say what you'd like, but it's all the truth. I'm not lying to you at all. After all, you do remember handing me those signed divorce papers, don't you? It was one of our fights from a long time ago. You were threatening about divorce and then handed me divorce papers that you'd signed and said I was free to walk away whenever I got sick of you. Well, here I am.
Wait, but you actually held on to those? I had no idea that you still had those papers at all. Don't you know that that was just to scare you into staying with me?
Of course I knew that. I saw right through what you were trying to do, even if you thought you had me fooled. But you should know that I've talked this over with my dad and even our other relatives, and they all agree that the best thing for me to do is divorce you. In fact, you should know that I even reached out to tell your parents that you and I are no longer married.
So it's your fault. You're the whole reason why they've been blowing up my phone with calls and texts. I've been ignoring them this whole time.
So you really haven't even read any of the messages from your parents at all? Well, it's no wonder you're so clueless about all of this. You should know that your parents were furious when I told them about why I was leaving you, though. And my parents were so mad they said they were writing you out of their will.
But hold on a second. If they do that, then doesn't that mean that I'm not gonna end up inheriting their house? Oh, you can't do this to me. You know how much I've sacrificed? You'll have wasted all the time I spent being married to you. It'll all be for nothing now.
Well, you should know that even if my dad were to pass away, you were never, ever going to get the house. I mean, what made you even think that you were going to inherit the house that my parents own in the first place?
What are you talking about? Of course I'd own the house. I'm your husband after all.
Yeah, that really doesn't mean anything, though. I mean, you know how a will works, right? The person makes a list of who gets what before they die. You don't just slide into some category where you have the house guaranteed to you.
Don't you get all uppity with me. You think you've won? You haven't won anything. You want to get a divorce? Then fine, let's do that. I don't care. That still means that I get a half of all your stuff, so what do you think you're gonna do about that, huh?
Again, you really don't seem to be aware of the truth of the circumstances at all. You should know that the assets that I had before we got married are unclaimable by you. The only thing that we can split is the assets contained in our joint account. Although I have to say that I was shocked when I checked that account. I don't think I'd even looked into it since we'd got married, but there wasn't a cent in there. Don't tell me that you wasted it all on gambling now.
I was gonna double all the money and then deposit it all back. I swear. You gotta believe me.
I don't really care at all what you were going to do with that money. I'm just sick of you and your excuses, though. I've been patient and understanding with you for years while you've been treating me like some kind of idiot you can walk all over. You don't seem to understand that I was tolerating you, not the other way around. But now that you've agreed to the divorce, why don't you pack up your bags and get out?
Wait, come on. Let's not just make rash decisions like this, right? Well, we can still settle this in person and talk and settle it like adults, right? You know that I can't communicate well when it just comes to text. I mean, come on, please. Let's just meet in person, then I can make my case and be listened to properly.
Yeah, no, that isn't going to happen. You're right about not being able to communicate over text, but you're not much better in person. If you really want to have a discussion about what is going to happen next between us, though, I'd be happy to connect you to my lawyer. In fact, you don't even have to worry about coming back home to collect yourself. I'll just package it all up and send it to your parents' house.
Oh, wait, come on. Don't act like this. We're still married and I'm still your husband. There's no need to be so rude. I'll come home right away and then we can talk about this in person like rational adults, okay? Just wait right where you are and I'll be right there.
Hey, Greg, are you okay? That was some accident that you were in, don't you think?
Nick, is that you? What's the matter with you? Why are you getting involved in this, huh? I think my leg might be broken and it's all your fault. Why would you do this to me?
I'm really sorry, Greg, but I think that you did this all to yourself, personally. But don't worry, I've at least called an ambulance for you, so there's that at least. And besides, you were the one trying to run down Linda on my motorcycle. I'm just glad that spun out and ended up crashing you into a wall instead.
You jerk. I know that you pulled Linda out of my way last second. I could have hit her and been perfectly fine if it weren't for you.
I know, I just thought that you were acting a bit strangely when you left my house. But then I heard that you started up my bike and I knew that something was wrong. I know that you and Linda have been going through something real rough lately in your relationship recently, but I had no idea that things were so bad between the two of you.
And now you've gone and left me all bent and broken. Thanks a lot, you jerk. This is all your fault.
I guess you don't really understand how things work, do you? You can't really think that this is anyone but your own fault, right?
You mean that you're really gonna stick up for my fat cow of a wife? You're really gonna take her side in this? Think of all the times I've given you a hand at work. I thought that you would have felt at least a bit of duty to help me out when I needed help too, but I guess not. I never should have counted on you.
Are you serious, Greg? You really are gonna compare you helping me with some work projects to me helping you murder your wife in cold blood? I know that you like to present a very different face to everyone at work than the face you show your wife at home. But I'm not gonna let the things you've done for me through my job let you turn me into an accomplice for vehicular manslaughter. And to think that you were the one that ended up with Linda. You know, I used to have a thing for her before she quit her job after marrying you. But all the other women in the office were always talking about what a cute couple you two made, so I decided to give up on my feelings for her.
Wait a second, you mean that you have a thing for my wife? Is that why you did what you did?
It's not why I did what I did, but it is true. I do really like Linda, and I'm not gonna hide that fact anymore. I gave up on her so that she could be with you, and I've regretted that choice every day since I've made it. And now I know that you've done this, I know that my gut feeling was right.
Hey, come on, let's take it down a notch, okay? I mean, I'm seriously injured here, come on. Can't you see that I'm the victim in this? I mean, you're not really gonna blame me just because you clearly still haven't gotten over your feelings for another man's woman, right?
There you go, this is what I'm talking about. You blame other people for injuries that you got literally trying to kill someone. Not only that, but I know all about how much time and money you spent at the casinos. Not to mention you coming home drunk almost most nights. I heard about what happened when Linda told about what had happened to her dad, and when you told her that you wished he had died instead. By the way, you should know that there are speed trap cameras all along the street that would have captured what you tried to do here.
Wait, what? Are you serious? You mean that there are cameras on this street that would have filmed me on your bike trying to run down Linda?
That's right, and these aren't those old low-quality cameras you see on cop shows. These are new and should clearly show you on the bike. So I'm afraid that after the hospital comes and picks you up, you're gonna have a very, very long chat with the police.
But how did it all come to this? I just don't understand. It's not fair.
If you're looking for someone to blame, maybe you should start with yourself.
Wait, no, you can't just leave me like this. You don't even know what I've gone through up until now. But I realized that I might have taken things a little too far, so please don't abandon me.
You really think that anything you say could convince me that what you were trying to do was justified? I'm never ever gonna side with you on this, and I'll always stick up for Linda. So I'll spend the time that you have before getting picked up thinking about what you've done wrong.
Please, no, don't do this to me. If I get arrested, my life is gonna be over. I can't go to jail. I can't even move. Please don't leave me. Linda, are you there? Please, I just want you to know that I realized I screwed up big this time, so please don't leave me like this. Can't you just please come outside so that you can help me? I just want to talk. Can't we do that?
What do you mean? Where did you screw up? Tell me exactly what you did.
Yeah, I tried to run you over in a motorcycle, and I tried to steal your house from your family.
Oh, come on. You know that you have a bunch more than that to apologize for, don't you?
You want me to keep going? Okay, well, fine. I'm sorry for spending all our money at the casino and never winning anything, but I thought that it was okay for me to use the money in the joint account. Besides, you make so much more money than I do, and I thought it really wasn't going to be a problem at all. And that's the whole reason why I thought it'd be a good idea to live with your parents in the first place.
You really are just full of pathetic excuses. Do you know that? I don't know why I even bothered to respond to your message. Just leave me alone, Greg.
No, please don't do this to me. I really am so sorry. I promise I will do more around the house to help, okay? I will wash the dishes, I will take out the trash, I will help your dad. I'll do anything you want, just please don't leave me.
I don't want anything to do with you ever again. Do you get it? If you really want to help me, then just leave me alone and never bother me again.
But that won't do. I know that I've screwed up, and I just want to try and make it right now. Ugh, you women always think that you know what's best, but you don't.
Wow. Do you really think that's going to help your case here at all? You literally tried to run me over and told me that you wished my dad had died.
Well, I know, but I'm just telling you that I'm sorry about all that. I mean, come on, this is all just one big misunderstanding, okay?
Oh, really? Because when I helped my dad up after finding him at home, I asked him what happened. He was so confused because he never trips like this, but said that he felt something tugging against his ankles when he did fall. You put something there to trip him, didn't you?
Hold on a second, you can't just accuse me of things like that with no other proof than some statements from a senile old man.
My dad isn't senile, and he isn't some feeble old man either. He goes on walks every day and has good balance. But it doesn't matter. I know that you don't know about the cameras I installed around the house in case we were ever robbed. You show up on there, and it's obvious that you tied something to the stairs before leaving for the day.
Wait, what? What do you mean? You're telling me that you had cameras installed all around our house and never told me?
I know for a fact I mentioned them to you, but you just never ever listened to anything that I have to say. By the way, you do remember saying that you wished my dad had died during his fall down the stairs, right? Well, I'm afraid that those words look so much worse in the context of you booby-trapping the stairs for him to fall down.
Wait, no, come on, that was just a phrase. I wasn't actually gonna try and kill anyone. You have to know that at least, right?
So then you're telling me that when you said he didn't bump his head, you weren't frustrated because that's exactly what you'd hoped would happen? You set up a trap in our house for my dad to literally stumble upon in the hope that he would die from the fall. And it was also that you could inherit the house we lived in. Something you've admitted to having as a goal, even though you were never going to get the house.
Linda, please, I think that you're taking this way too far. I mean, think about what could happen to me. I could lose my job over this. Speaking of work, I've just been so busy with things, and they've been worrying me half to death. This wasn't really me trying to do anything about your dad. It was just a result of all the mental strain, yeah. You have to know that I would never ever want to hurt someone on purpose, right?
Can you please just stop with the lying? I mean, I wonder if you even realize how obvious you make it to read in between the lines. You must really think that I'm an idiot if you think I'm going to buy even a single word of that. But not only did you hurt my father, you tried to kill me and almost injured your coworker, Nick, in the process.
But you don't think that I'm some sort of criminal or something, do you? Besides, I didn't know that he was gonna show up out of nowhere to pull you out of the way. But I think that we really just need to talk about this one-on-one, okay? I'll even pay for your dad's hospital bills as a show of good faith, okay?
Of course you're going to be paying for his hospital bills. We're going to sue you into oblivion for all that you've tried to do to my family. You're worried about your job? I'm afraid that there are going to be much worse things in store for you right now.
Please don't do this to me. Why do you want to ruin my life so badly? What did I even do to you? I'm begging you not to do this to me.
You're nothing but a horrible criminal and a would-be murderer who can't live up to his crimes now that they've failed.
That's not fair. You can't just accuse me of these things without proof. Please, why can't we just talk this out, huh?
I would have loved to be able to talk this out with you, but it's clear that we are far past that point now. And as for proof, I guess we'll just see what a jury thinks is proof when I see you in court. After that, Nick took me to the hospital to see my father so we could tell him about what happened. On the way over, he confessed that he had feelings for me. I always had a suspicion, but I told him that I was also in no shape to be thinking about that now. Thankfully, Nick understood, but said he just wanted to make his feelings clear. As for Greg, he was arrested and charged with attempted murder, theft, and driving a motorbike without the proper license. We had our day in court, and the jury couldn't have been deliberating for more than 20 minutes before they came back with a guilty verdict on all counts. In addition to prison time, Greg was charged to pay my dad's hospital bill, repairs for Nick's bike, and fees for the emotional trauma suffered by my dad and I. Nick tried to beg us for forgiveness in court, but we weren't having any of it. Even his own parents ended up disinheriting him. So Greg ended up in prison with no family, friends, or money. He writes me letters from jail, but they've all gone straight in the trash without ever being opened. I've been slowly accepting what happened and coming to terms with the fact that I'm no longer married. It's been about a year since the trial, and I finally got the courage to ask Nick out on a date. I feel like after all he's done for me, maybe the right man for me was under my nose this entire time. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.